Still Googling everything? It's time for an upgrade. These 25 expert Perplexity AI tips and tricks will change how you search, how you work, how you learn forever. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is where people over 40 and under 40, but over 40, people in business, people who are non-technical experts can learn how to work smarter, not harder. Today, we're diving into Perplexity AI, and this is a really powerful research assistant that you can use. You can use it for free. There are paid plans as well, but these tips will help you get the most out of Perplexity. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 25 top tips to make you a professional at using Perplexity. You're going to learn how to search better, get better answers out of Perplexity, and actually use those answers to do real research and real work. If you've ever said, I'm not technical, I can't use AI, well, this is the video for you. Perplexity is great. At the end of this video, you're going to be a pro at using Perplexity. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first use case, you're researching climate change, but you only want information from peer-reviewed papers. Let's show you how to do just that. So here we are in Perplexity. So I've got Perplexity Pro, but you can do just this on the normal Perplexity, the free version. Okay, so first up, I've got a prompt here. Explain how climate change is impacting UK agriculture. Use academic sources. And what I'm going to do here is click on this set sources for research. I'm going to click on academic, turn off the web. We don't want it looking at the entire internet, so just look at academic search papers. Let's go, see what we get. Now, Perplexity works really quickly. It's very cool. It's reviewing and summarising key findings. Here we go. And it gives you an answer. Climate change is already having notable effects on UK agriculture. Key impacts. Gives me the pros and cons. I ask for pros and cons all the time, so it gives me pros and cons. Digital agriculture, a mitigation strategy, confidence level, sustainability. Let's go up here and look at the sources. 19 sources. Role of digital agriculture in mitigating climate change. Climate change impact on agricultural food survey. Have a look. Make sure we've got good sources. Here we go. Academic paper. Go back. So all of these are from academic papers. There are 19 of them. There's the answer. Fantastic. So doing a search, academic papers, just turn on academic paper search. Easy as that. Let's move on. Okay, so tip number 2, say you are planning a trip and you want to explore multiple destinations in one thread. Let's see how we can do that with tip number 2. So I've put in a prompt here, best places to visit in Portugal in spring. Let's go with that. So the idea of this is to have a conversation with Perplexity. So we've got the answer, we've got a load of sources. Spring is one of the best times to experience Portugal. I wish I was going. Douro Valley, etc. Gives me lots of ideas. I'm going to say, that's great. I'm going to follow up with a, what about cheaper alternatives? So it will continue that stream about Portugal. You're looking for cheaper alternatives. And here we go, cheaper destinations and strategies. Stay in a hostel or budget hotels. The text builds, Lisbon and Porto, Sintra, pros and cons of budget travel, confidence level, high. So what I'm showing you here is that you ask a question and then you ask a follow-on question and build the context of your query. So don't just ask one question and then go and ask a brand new question. Build on that initial question and explore it. Then you'll get the most out of Perplexity. Let's move on to tip 3. So next tip number 3, you've seen with ChatGPT and the big large language models that they're great at summarising articles. Well, Perplexity can do it just as well. So I've got a prompt here, summarise this article, and I found a large article from the BBC website about some female flying aces that helped defeat the Nazis. But let's see what Perplexity can do with that. And there we go. Summary of the article. Remarkable all-female flying team that helped defeat the Nazis. And there you go. And it's the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, a Night Witches, group of Russian female pilots who flew night bombing missions against German targets, often outdated, slow wooden biplanes with no parachutes and minimal equipment. There's a fantastic story about how these women helped win the war. Absolutely fantastic. And there you go. You can read the full article to confirm that it's all accurate, but it's done a very nice summary for me. So use Perplexity to summarize documents and big web pages as well. Really good. Okay, so say you're going for an interview panel, and you know they're going to discuss things like AI and AI ethics. Well, this is how you can use Perplexity to prepare for that. So what I've said here is what ethical concerns are being discussed about AI in 2025. And what I've done is I'm going to turn on deep research, because this will give us a much deeper understanding of the specific questions. So let's see what we get. So like with the other deep research, it creates a plan first. Thoroughly address your query about ethical concerns. I'll conduct targeted web searches, identify the most relevant databases, policy documents, etc. Tells me what it's doing. So it's very much like deep research on Google, on Gemini, and deep research on ChatGPT. But this is within this search engine. And of course, you can have a few goes at deep research, even on the free version. So well worth doing. Working away. As usual with deep research questions, it takes some time. It goes through, creates a plan and goes through it. But as you can see, pretty effective. Deep research on Perplexity is very, very good. Broad range of topics. So this is what it needs to do. Determine the language, what we should be thinking in. Queries in English, so think in English. There we go. And it gives me a AI ethics in 2025, navigating the moral maze. Rise of AI governance, regulatory frameworks, bias and fairness, transparency, explainability, opening the black box, talking about how you don't quite know how AI works. So is there a way of making it more transparent? Privacy, data protection in the AI age, accountability, responsibility and structure. You see, this is a very detailed report using deep research with Perplexity, really powerful tool. Still going. Copyright, AI literacy, very, very cool. Gives you a conclusion. Pretty interesting report. Well worth having. Now, of course, as I showed you in the previous one, why don't we say, write me some potential questions and suggested answers on this topic. And so it's done the research, and now it's going to analyze the key themes in the previous conversation and generate some potential questions and hopefully some answers. See what we get. So interesting here, it's gone and found some AI ethics Q&As. Simple questions, AI ethics 2025 answers. Reviewing the links to gather information. Just like the way Perplexity works, it tells you what it's doing, tells you where it's getting the information from. That's really interesting as well. Okay, here we go. So we've got some questions. How can organizations ensure AI systems avoid perpetuating social bias, societal biases? And it goes into why those biases are there. They were trained on historical data, which risk amplifying existing biases. To address this, companies must implement bias audits during development and adopt techniques like adversarial debiasing. What steps are necessary to maintain human oversight in AI decision-making? The black box nature, I talked about that a few minutes ago, of advanced AI systems complicates accountability. Solutions include humans in the loop frameworks, so making sure that there's always a human there just checking that what the AI is giving you makes sense. How should companies balance innovation with privacy concerns? So AI's reliance on vast databases, including sensitive health or financial information, raises significant privacy risks. Differential privacy and federated learning allows models to learn from data without accessing raw records, reduces leakage. What role should governments play in regulating AI? The EU AI Act, video about that up here. How can AI literacy be improved across society? And here's some answers, some strategies. Really good. So if you were going for that interview, you could spend 5-10 minutes, use a bit of deep research in Perplexity, and get yourself fully prepared. Great tool. Let's move on to tip number 5. Okay, so one of the cool things you can do with Perplexity is to do comparisons. So say you wanted to compare Midjourney versus DALL-E for creating logos. Let's see what we get from Perplexity. Here we go. So it's broken it down into a comparison table: image quality, highly artistic, detailed, prompt accurate, clean, ease of use, medium, very easy to use DALL-E in ChatGPT, customization, high in Midjourney, moderate, less granular controls in DALL-E, text handling poor, DALL-E poor. The new image generator from ChatGPT works with words and text really well. If you've got text in it, don't use Midjourney, don't use DALL-E, just use ChatGPT's image generation. It's outstanding. Speed, faster in with DALL-E, fast for Midjourney, faster with DALL-E, much slower with ChatGPT's image generation. Platform, Discord based, community driven, less accessible for non-Discord users. You can use it without Discord. I do. You can just go to the website. ChatGPT is DALL-E is integrated within ChatGPT. And then you've got pricing, legals, commercial, best for artistic, unique, high impact logos, best for fast ideation, brand consistency, precise prompt interpretation. So there you go, using Perplexity to compare different products. Say if you were buying a new camera, which I did quite recently, and you wanted to compare some products, you can use Perplexity to compare 1, 2, or 3 or more products, and it will give you that breakdown like you've seen below. And of course, if you want it to say, I'm using it for this particular task, then it will give the breakdown within that context. Great for doing comparisons. Let's move on. Tip number 6. Okay, so say you've got a great article that you're working with, you're creating a blog and you want to draw in some information from a particular article. And what you actually want to do is to get a quote from the article, and you want some explanation of why that's important. So here we go. We've got find a great quote from this article and explain its importance. And what I've done is popped in a link to one of my blog articles. See what we get. So there we go. It's gone and read the article, and it said, people worry about replacement. They should focus on liberation, sound judgment, craft and client empathy, stay human. Everything else is moving to the machine layer. The sooner we teach the layer our standards, the sooner we reclaim time for ideas and the occasional long coffee. So that's taken from that blog, and it sets out the importance of this quote. It reframes the AI debate. It sets out that human value remains central, call to action for standards, and practical optimism. That's me. There you go. A really useful way of drawing out a nice quote from an article and then making sure you've got all of the important items out of that quote. Really useful tool when you're writing and you're wanting to draw in different sources. Hope that helps. Let's move on. Tip number 7. Okay, so say you've got quite a complex subject that you're wanting to look into and you want different perspectives. So here I've got a prompt. How will AI affect the legal profession over the next 10 years? Give me different perspectives. And what you want to do is toggle on the pro search. Now, if you are in a free account, you may need to log in, and then you'll have a limited number of pro searchers. I'm in the pro account, so it gives me them. But this will then give you a series of expert opinions and predictions from different perspectives. And I'm particularly keen to get those different perspectives. So law firm leaders and practitioners, clients, entry-level lawyers and law students, legal educators, AI skeptics and critics. So Here it's given me a whole series, 5 different perspectives on a particular issue. You always get all of the really nice, you get the nice references, and you can click through to the areas where they got the information from. You can click through to the papers where they got the information from. And yeah, asking for different perspectives will give you a much richer answer. And of course, you can go on and ask further questions of this particular search, dig deeper, look at it in different ways. And Perplexity is really good at sort of keeping on task, where some of the others will go down a bit of a rabbit hole and you have to drag them back. But Perplexity, really good at keeping on task and giving you lots of different perspectives. Fantastic. Let's go on to tip number 8. So you're in business and you're looking to understand a competitor strategy. Well, Perplexity's got you here. Your competitive intelligence is made easy. So what is Microsoft's AI strategy in 2025? See what we get. The Microsoft strategy centered on building an AI first company, strong focus on agentic AI, large scale infrastructure investments, core pillars. And you can see it's bringing these from news reports, calendar, InfoQ. So it's looking at what other people are saying about Microsoft, latest strategy, interconnected, system memory, AI systems, multi-agent systems. Can't wait. Copilot ecosystem expansion. I think we've seen Copilot work really well, and they're improving it no end. Copilot Studios, massive AI infrastructure investment. So they're investing 80 billion in AI-enabled data centers. Azure remains the backbone, used a lot. Strategic partnership with model and model diversity. So they've got an OpenAI partnership that we know about, still central to Microsoft, but also using Mistral. That's a French AI system, and its own models like 5.4, collaborations with hardware partners like NVIDIA and AMD. They're obviously one of the biggest companies in the world, so they do a lot. Deep product integration, responsible and compliant AI. And I think that will be really important for Microsoft and give them an edge. Fierce competition. Yeah. So understanding the strategy of Microsoft, Perplexity does a really good job. Really good job at doing that. Definitely you can use this if you want to do your competitor analysis. Let's move on. Tip number 9. So tip number 9, say you're wanting sort of tables and that sort of thing for a presentation. So here I've said, create a table comparing Claude, ChatGPT and Gemini models. See what we get from Perplexity. Goes off and does its search. Don't underestimate the power of Perplexity. If you're doing searches on Google for information around the different models, you're going to be going through website after website, reading stuff. Perplexity is doing it for you right here. And there we go. Provides you a table. You can cut and paste this into your own document. Choose which ones you want. Very, very cool. Key takeaways. Most versatile. Claude excels at deep reasoning, long document analysis and code. ChatGPT, most versatile for general use. Gemini is the leader in native multimodal tasks. That's probably right. But there you go. Quick, less than a minute, you can get your model comparison that you can bang into your documents. As always, check it. It's come from AI. Check it because it still can hallucinate. For something like this, it's going to be pretty good. Let's move on. So say you're doing some research into a specific area, and what you want to do is to build up a story about that research. So effectively create a threaded research. So here we go. What is generative AI? Get the answer. Loads of answers, main functions. Then you go, what are the common risks? Data privacy, intellectual property, data poisoning, model manipulation. And then you can either carry on building your research. Remember, you just copy all of this and use it, either building your research or digging deeper. So here, what are the common data privacy and security risks with Gen AI? So we're digging deeper. There we go. Gives you a nice little table that summarizes it. Let's say, so what evidence is there of data leakage? So it said that's a problem. So what's the actual evidence? Samsung employees unintentionally leak sensitive source code by putting it into ChatGPT. Amazon reports it surfaced of generative AI tools showing sign of being trained on highly sensitive internal data. Harmonic security analysis from payrolls to patents found that a wide range of sensitive data, including payroll information, IP, and API keys, was uploaded into Gen AI tools like Copilot, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and Gemini. Regulatory and official warnings, typical leakage mechanism, prompt injection attacks. Attackers craft inputs to trick AI models into revealing confidential data they remember. Overfitting and memorization. Models trained in sensitive data can sometimes reproduce verbatim fragments of that data in their outputs. Shadow AI. Employees using unsanctioned AI tools without oversight can inadvertently expose confidential business information. So there is some examples, lots of confidence in it. So as you can see, this is keeping this thread going, digging down, going even deeper, and building up a knowledge base of information by asking a chained set of questions. That's tip number 10. Let's move on to tip number 11. For tip number 11, within Perplexity, it's perfectly acceptable to give it a persona. In fact, I would advise you to give it a persona, and that will change how it gives you the answer. So in this particular prompt, I've said, act like a McKinsey consultant and explain the impact of LLMs on HR. Don't forget, all these prompts will be in the attached document down below, so you can follow along, you can have your own go, and here we go. And it effectively gives me a McKinsey style report, key impacts, onboarding, learning and development. Always gives me the pros and cons because I've asked it to. Implementation considerations, further reading, see McKinsey report on generative AI and HR. Is there actually one? Yes, there is. There you go. That's the actual McKinsey report. Actually, it's a conversation. So give Perplexity a persona and it will respond in that way. Really good. Let's move on. Okay, tip 12, customize your profile. Make sure that Perplexity is working particularly for you now. So even on a free account, you can log in and personalize. So if you go down to your account settings here and go to personalize, then you can introduce yourself. And here we go, YouTube star, covering all things AI. There we go. You can dream. And what I've said is write in a direct, personable, casual tone, not too exuberant. Don't be over verbose, always referencing API. Give me the pros and cons of a topic. You've seen that in all of the searches we've done. Preference accuracy over achieving results. Use bullet points. Be creative. Always inform me of confidence level of your answer. Address the reader as you and your. There we go. So that is my Perplexity personalization. Put that in and you get what you want. You can also set where your location is. Enter location or enable precise location to get more accurate weather and sports. There we go. Knows where I am. Actually thinks I'm in Sleepy Hollow, New York. That's because I'm using a VPN. So I might turn that off. Reference search library, so you can let Perplexity look at your previous searches when answering. Reference saved memories, got that on. Manage your saved memories. You can delete them or if you wish, and then your watch list. So go in, personalize your Perplexity, and you'll see you'll get so much more out of your interactions with Perplexity. Hope that was helpful. Let's move on to the next tip. Okay, so using Perplexity, you can use it to put enormous documents in and draw out some key findings. So here I've uploaded my PhD. It is 26.4 megabytes. And I've said, summarize the key findings of this report. See if it does it. Now, in the free version of Perplexity, you are limited to, I think, 3 uploads a day. And if you ask Perplexity, it will tell you that it can only deal with something up to 25 megabytes. And this is 26 megabytes, but it's worked. Key findings. Thesis investigates how UK multinational enterprises perceive intellectual property. UK M&Es view China's IPR regime as weak, despite improvements in laws and formal alignment with international standards. These perceptions directly affect investment decisions. Investment mode preferences shift due to IPR concerns. Quality and type of FDI are affected. International strategies to mitigate IPR risks. Sectoral and company differences matter. Different companies with different requirements on IPR have different requirements of the country that they're investing in. IPR is one of several location factors, but often not a decisive one. Empirical contribution to methodological insights. That's a mouthful. Study highlights the need to disaggregate FDI by type and by company characteristics to better understand the IPR-FDI relationship. Previous research often failed to capture these nuances. Policy implications, limitations, gives me the pros and cons. Can't believe there's any cons, it's my PhD. Findings are drawn directly from the comprehensive peer-reviewed PhD thesis based on robust primary and secondary data with clear triangulation of evidence from surveys, interviews, and databases. How cool is that? Really cool. There we go. We'll give you, if I want, I can go in for a more detailed breakdown by sector because all the information is in there. So I'll go and find it. Really cool. So taking a massive document, understanding of the key aspects of that document. And so I could now go in and say, well, tell me about the high-tech industries. Tell me what's in this report that relates to them. Tell me about agriculture, etc. Really powerful tool when you've got a big report that you have to try and synthesize into something sensible. Okay, let's move on. So tip number 14, how often do you hear something and think, I just don't understand that? Use Perplexity to help you. So here I've got a prompt, explain quantum computing like I'm 5 and I need this. So let's see what we get. Of course, you don't have to go down to 5. You could be a 10-year-old. And here we go. Let's work out what quantum computing was like I'm a 5-year-old. Regular computers use bits, like light switches. They're either on or off. Quantum computers use qubits, like spinning coins that are both heads and tails at the same time. Still not sure I understand. Quantum tricks, superposition. Qubits can explore multiple possibilities simultaneously. Imagine solving a maze by trying all the paths at once instead of one by one. Okay, I'm starting to understand it now. Entanglement. Qubits can become linked like magic twins. Change one and the other instantly changes two, even if they're like miles apart. All right, believe it, but I don't really understand it. What they're good for: simulating molecules for new medicines, solving complex optimization problems like perfect delivery routes, breaking, reinventing encryption systems. Why they're tricky to build: the qubits are extremely fragile. Even tiny vibrations or temperature changes can disrupt them. Current quantum computers need supercooled environments at minus 273 degrees C to function. Cool. Well, I'm not sure a 5-year-old will get that, but it certainly simplifies it. So you can see how using Perplexity to simplify a complex subject can be really helpful. Okay, let's move on. So say you're putting together a presentation for this afternoon and you want to know what the current UK inflation rate is. Now, if you did a general search on things like Google, you might get that answer, or you might get the last reported inflation rate that it found, or you might get something that's a bit old. So let's see what we get from Perplexity. The most recent UK inflation rate measured by the Consumer Price Index was 3.5% for the year to April 2025. This is a notable increase from 2.6 in March 2025, so it gives us the dates. It's above the Bank of England's target of 2%. There you go. So gives you time-stamped data, really useful. Also gives you analysis and discussion about it. So using Perplexity to get up-to-date information, really helpful. Let's move on. So say you're looking for something very specific for a report or something like that, and you want to have a very specific search. So within Perplexity, you can use Boolean logic. So here I've got a prompt, AI and healthcare and policy. See what we get. Here we go. AI in healthcare and policy, increasingly influencing policy and practice, improved decision making, enhanced efficiency, better patient outcomes, increased access, bias and equity risk, transparency, data privacy, key considerations, national AI strategy, quality assurance and oversight, stakeholder engagement, transparency and accountability, education and training. And here are 3 of the documents that it got its information from for some further reading. So using Boolean logic will give you a better search. Let's move on. Okay, so you are wanting to do some research for a university style paper, a peer-reviewed paper. So here I'm asking for peer-reviewed articles on hallucinations in LLMs. So as I showed in tip number 1, you can give focus to Perplexity by saying only look at academic articles. In this one, we're asking specifically for peer-reviewed articles on hallucinations in large language models. Comprehensive survey introduces a taxonomy of hallucinations, and it gives me a series of papers. It tells me about them, survey and hallucinations, large language models, and these are all peer-reviewed papers. Gives me the URL, tells me the pros and cons of each paper. Very cool. There we go. PDF is there. This goes on. Gives me a whole pile. And here we go. It gives me the article, what it's about, pros and cons of each one. So if you're looking for peer-reviewed papers, ask Perplexity to generate them for you. Let's move on. So we're going to jump outside of Perplexity this time. We're going to go into Chrome. So in Chrome, we go to the 3 dots up here, and then we zoom down to settings. And here we've got our settings. Go over here and go to search engine. And I've got ChatGPT. And I'm going to go to manage engines and search sites. There's all the ones that are there. Go down to site search and click add. And then in here, put Perplexity. Shortcut is PERP. And then the URL, I'll put these details down below, put the URL in and click add Perplexity here. And then if you go down to Perplexity, once you've added it in, there it is, Perplexity and Perp. And we should be able to make it the default. There we go. So it's now the default search engine. So if we go into here and type latest on Musk, and as you can see, the latest on Trump and Musk, and it's now a Perplexity search. There we go. Goes straight into Perplexity. You can see the 2 guys who have just fallen out with each other. It's bizarre. Somebody said today, the thinkable has happened. New York Times live updates on Trump and Musk. So now in my Chrome, when I do a search, it's a search from Perplexity, jumps me straight into there. You can also obviously do that on ChatGPT, as you saw, but that's how you add Perplexity to your browser, and every search will be a Perplexity search. Let's move on. So tip number 19, fact checking, and how much is that needed right now? So here we go. Did Elon Musk say AI is more dangerous than nukes? Yeah, he did. He publicly stated that artificial intelligence AI is potentially more dangerous than nukes. Here's the breakdown of what he said and the context. So if you see a quote and you think, I don't believe that's true, you can put it into Perplexity and you can find out. Really, really helpful. Okay, short and sweet. Let's move on. Tip number 20. Okay, so for this tip, you are struggling to get inspiration for how to write a document, how to write a blog, etc. So here I've crafted a prompt, outline a blog post about how AI helps job seekers over 40. And Perplexity will give you a really good answer, a really good structure to what a blog should look like. So introduction, briefly explain how AI has changed the job market, address common challenges, the new reality, 99% of Fortune 500 companies use AI to filter resumes. Is that true? 75% of applications are never seen by a human. Wow. I'm not sure that is legal in Europe anymore. Common challenges for job seekers over 40. How can AI help you if you use it right? Interview preparation, discovering new opportunities, practical tips for over 40s, conclusion. So there you go. AI will help you to build up that structure of whatever you're writing. Really helpful. Perplexity will do it for you, giving you the prompt. You have a go. Let's get some blogs out there. Let's move on. Okay, so you do want to write. I've given you excitement to do writing. So how might you best do that? So I wouldn't probably write your whole blog in Perplexity, but you can use these tools together. You can use ChatGPT and you can use Perplexity to do the research. So research the 5 biggest AI tools of 2025. See what we get. Get this precise rundown. Canva, DeepL. Don't even know what that is. ChatGPT, Quillbot, remove.bg. Honorable mentions for Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity. All right, so let's take that. And there we go, the 5 biggest AI tools of 2025. Confidence level high. Gives me an intro, quick snapshot, goes through each one. There you go. Obviously the references in APA style. So using Perplexity, drag your research into ChatGPT, and then go ahead and do your blog writing. Cool. Let's move on. Okay, here I have asked for AI in education in 2025. I've got a report on that. Great report. My colleagues will be interested in that. So I can share it, and I can share it with anyone with a link, copy it, copy the link, pop it into an email, send it to them. They can have access to this report. Simple as that. So really easy to share your outputs with your other colleagues. Dead simple. Let's move on. Okay, tip number 23. Couldn't be simpler. Translating information from one language to another. So here I've created a prompt. Translate this, and I put a link to a prompt in German about Ukraine. Here's an English summary and translation of the main points. There we go. On the 6th of June 2025. Ukraine air defense, EU trade policy changes, destruction in Kherson, German report, put into English. Perplexity, very, very cool. Let's move on to tip 24. Okay, tip number 24. You've got a meeting, you've got a transcript from a meeting, you've got a recording. Then all you have to do, drop it into Perplexity, summarize this transcript. This was a meeting that I did on Thursday, session timings. I just went through the whole load of stuff around AI, wraps it up, really concise summary of a transcript. Brief yourself in seconds. Really useful, dead easy. Perplexity has got your back. Let's move on. Okay, so you're writing a newsletter, you want to stay ahead of the game, you want to make sure that you've got the very latest information. Go into Perplexity, top 5 trends in AI in May 2025. Here's what's going on. Multimodal AI comes of age, autonomous agents, generative AI expands beyond text and images. Nearly half of code on GitHub is now AI generated. AI reasoning and custom silicon. Scaling laws shift to new frontiers. At a glance, you get your nice little box as well. Really good for staying absolutely up to date, creating lists, all that sort of thing. Use Perplexity. Fantastic. Now, the bonus tip number 26. I just wanted to put this in. So you are wanting to understand a specific subject from a different perspective. So in this prompt, we've got walk me through how a policy advisor the Bank of England would assess the EU AI regulation. So that's what I'm asking it to do. So I don't want Perplexity to tell me as if it was Perplexity. I want it to put it into the mind of a Bank of England policy advisor. So if you're a policy advisor at Bank of England tasked with assessing the EU AI regulation, officially the EU AI Act, here's how you would approach the process. Understand the EU AI Act, key priorities, assess relevance to the Bank of England and the financial sector, identify key areas of impact, engage stakeholders and build a response, formulate policy advice, monitor and adapt. That will tell you how they will go about writing that sort of document. Really helpful if you're trying to just understand how to go about a specific piece of work. Now, obviously, I can ask Perplexity to write me a document on the implications for the financial sector of the EU AI Act. But of course, if I just did that, I would be missing out all of those stages like engaging stakeholders, horizon scanning, etc. I might be missing out those key areas. So use Perplexity to give you the framework to make your work even better, to do your work more effectively. That's tip number 26, the bonus tip. Okay, there we have it. 26 tips to get the most out of Perplexity. It really is a fantastic tool, and I hope you've learned something. If you have learned something in this video that you didn't know about, then bang me a like, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, and then you'll be informed every time I issue a new video. I think Perplexity is really useful, a really useful tool. I use it regularly. I use it every day. I've got the Pro plan. It's worth it. I think it cuts down my time going through Google and searching and looking at documents. Perplexity will gather that information for you and give it you in a format that makes sense to you. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've really enjoyed making it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.